What if? What if the personal development that you do, what if the books that you read, what if the podcasts that you listen to, what if the courses that you've been on, what if they're fundamentally useless? And that by learning and implementing and integrating this one lesson would mean that you either fully implement anything you've ever learned or perhaps never needed personal development ever again. In this video, I want to share with you what has probably been my greatest personal development lesson ever. If I was doing this video a few years ago, I might have said something else. I might have said something like, my best personal development lesson ever is, you've got to manage your state, right? Probably a great lesson learned many years ago from Tony Robbins. Incredibly powerful. Another one I might have learned, which also is very much a Robbins thing, is about you get what you focus on. Another one that I have heard, Jim Rohn say is, your entire life is a direct reflection of the kind of who you spend time with. Kind of peer group is everything, right? Or environment dictates performance. Some other guru said that. But I would go as far as saying at this particular point in my life that actually the greatest personal development lesson that I've ever had has come to me this year. It's come to me at a time when I probably most was needing it and ready for it. And it's this concept that I've been speaking about a little bit briefly in these videos about the idea of upgrading your identity. You see, if you've ever seen the movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper, where he takes a pill and upgrades his identity, or in fact, if you've ever seen any hero's journey movie, whether it's Rocky, who doesn't believe that he can, beat certain fighters and then goes on to beat certain fighters, or frankly, any hero's journey, whether it's Neo in The Matrix or Simba in The Lion King, fundamentally what the catalyst in the hero's journey is the hero makes a decision that something needs to change. And at a subconscious level, the decision that has to always be made first is a decision to change one's identity. Even if you could go as simple and as granular as a person making a decision that they're no longer going to smoke, and they make the decision and they stick to it and they never smoke again, versus a person that smokes, stops smoking and then starts smoking again. Fundamentally, the difference is the first person says, I'm not a smoker. And they cut off any association with that piece being part of their identity. Sati, for those of you that don't know, my wife, when she was a teenager, she was terribly called at school Sati Fatty. Kids are unkind, right? Horrible. But actually, she, initially taking that very personally, used it as leverage to make a change. Her whole kind of family culture was not overweight, but were not like, they weren't like fitness fanatics. They weren't in the best shape. I was kind of lucky. My mum was an aerobics instructor and was in shape and was, health was probably easier for me to model because that was probably my mum's strong area. But Sati didn't have that. But she made a decision that she was going to change her identity around health. And as a result, her health is now incredibly different. She's, in incredible shape, fit as a fiddle, 37 years old, I think. I should know my wife's age. She's had 2 children, one like less than a year ago. And she's never gone back to that. And I just think it's really, really fascinating how some people make a decision to change something and they do and they follow through, and then somebody else makes a decision to change something and they don't. And it all comes down to identity. all comes down to identity. Because if you put somebody who has an identity in a peer group of people who have a different identity, unless that person that is integrated into the group makes a decision that they want to model the identity of those in the group, if they don't believe that they're worthy of the identity of the peers in the group, it doesn't matter how long they spend with those people, they'll never own that identity. Like, I love the phrase, who you spend time with is who you become. And to an extent, I do believe it. But I've got mentors of mine that I've spent a very long time with who I still haven't achieved a level of success that they have. So I'm doing the thing that Jim Rohn talks about by putting myself in these environments with these really successful people. But I haven't, until very recently, made a decision that I need to make a change to my identity. Like, the identity level has to change. So the question then comes up, you may be asking, is, well, how do you change it? And the way that I've been researching and learning how to change it, some of this stuff is coming from Neville Goddard, who is a late great teacher. Some of it is coming from Dr. Joe Dispenza. Some of it comes from, movies like The Secret, and some of the great teachers in there, like, Michael Beckwith, amongst other people. But fundamentally, what is required for you to change and upgrade your identity is, as the saying goes, you've got to see yourself as a completely different person. Joe Dispenza wrote a book, The Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. So you have to see yourself as a completely different person. How do you do that, you may ask? Well, the way to do that fundamentally comes down to visualization, which, to put it really simply, is the art of meditating on things that have not yet happened and visualizing as if they've already happened. Because the brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So I'll give you an example. I sat earlier this afternoon and I wrote down a series of things that are outcomes for me that haven't yet happened. So I don't want to pretend like this is something that I've been doing for years and this is working. But it'd be really interesting to see this video back maybe a few years from now. But actually, side note, I went on a seminar a few years ago, about 3 years ago, less than 3 years ago. And I wrote a goal down about how I wanted to have a coaching training company 5 years ago. I wanted to have a coach training company and I wanted somebody to do the marketing, and I did these live events online or in person, and I did all the speaking and the coaching and the training. And for those of you that don't know, that is the business that I have and have had for the past 3 years, and have had somebody doing the marketing, and I haven't done any of that. And that was just like written in a training manual. So there's a lot to be said for simply writing goals down. Sorry, feeling a bit under the weather today. But the problem with writing goals down is if there's an old unconscious part of us that doesn't believe that we can make that happen. Because arguably, if we believe we could make it happen, we probably maybe would have already made it happen, right? Possibly. Not always, there's often lag time is needed. But the point being is that I believe writing goals down are really powerful. But what I believe even more so now is that the art of visualizing, like eyes closed, will likely just help to speed along the process of making the goal real. Because once it's in your imagination, it becomes something that is in your head instead of simply a written thing on paper. And so, like today, I wrote a few things down about some new goals. And basically what you've got to do if you want to try this out is it's as simple as writing a goal down as if it's already happened. So like I wrote down a particular business, a new business that I'm going to start. And I described a scene, which would be like a kind of like a success marker for this business in its like first year, right? Like a particular scene where I'm with a particular kind of ideal client and we're sitting down negotiating, signing on the dotted line for this deal, right? And so I wrote it down, closed my eyes, and I like ran the scene like it was a movie scene in my head. And I like ran it, and because I've ran it, as I close my eyes now, I can't not run that scene again. I'm literally at the head office of this organization. I already it helps. I know what it looks like. I'm in the boardroom. I'm sitting down. We're negotiating the deal. We're signing the paperwork. We're signing it off. Funds have been transferred. Deal is in, and we're out doing the working on the project. Now, there's no guarantees that this is going to happen, but a bit like how we would encourage kids to dream and imagine, I think part of the problem with adulthood is we stop using imagination. See, I believe imagination is kind of like a muscle. And it's like if you don't use a muscle, like if you don't run or you don't go to the gym or you don't just work a muscle, then that muscle will stop working, right? So you've got to use muscles. We kind of get that for muscles to grow and for muscles to work. And I believe imagination is a muscle. And I believe as a result, we've got to use it or we lose it. So kind of rounding this video up, my suggestion, my kind of encouragement for you is if you don't have goals and you have no interest in manifesting anything that's beyond your wildest dreams, well, you probably wouldn't be still watching this video for starters. But if you have something that you really would love to manifest, like a wild dream that you would love to achieve, that would for you be freaking incredible, then I encourage you to, like, I don't like doing the whole put a timeline on it, but I'm going to do it. I encourage you for like the next 7 days to just once a day, to keep it really simple, write down some goals as if they've already happened. Write down, I recommend putting headphones on. What I do is I put big headphones on. I put an eye mask on because I find that being able to completely block out any external light sensitivity and any distractions. So I'll write one down and write it as if it's happened. And then I go headphones on, like binaural beats, movie soundtrack. Generally, I like movie soundtrack stuff because you're trying to create this feeling like your life is a movie, right? Headphones on, write it down, get it in, write it down, close your eyes, sit and take maybe a minute, wait till you can see the scene, put yourself in the scene, visualize the scene, own the scene, live the scene. And when you feel like it's kind of coming to a conclusion, you want to give it at least a minute, open your eyes, take your mask off, write another one down and repeat. And do it as long as you like. Like earlier, I think I did about 12. So it's about 12 minutes, right? And for me, it's powerful. And you know, if there's one thing that I'm really getting from it, it's really, it's exciting. It's fun. It's motivating me. It's getting me out of fear and worry and lack and getting me into like the future's exciting. Because like Joe Dispenza says, either we're creating the future out of fear or out of the software that we've already got, like the goals that we've created. You know I can achieve this goal because I've already achieved one like it before. Or how else can we achieve something we've never achieved? Well, the only way we can do that is by visualizing ourselves as if it's already happened. And then it will reduce the kind of the resistance and but how am I going to do it? It will make it, give you more leverage to make that happen. Hey, look, I hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, comment. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this. Have you done this type of thing? Is this new to you? Is this common sense to you? Is this common sense but uncommon in practice to you. Would love to hear what your thoughts are on this type of manifesting process. I'm loving this stuff. I find it really, really powerful and fascinating. Hope you do too. And look, if you're a person who is interested in helping other people, serving other people, maybe perhaps right now you don't have the kind of lifestyle that you want. Maybe you're in a career you don't enjoy. Maybe you don't have time freedom. Maybe you're worried about your future. Maybe you're kind of would love to eventually maybe quit your day job if you're in a job you don't enjoy. Well, my assumption is where you want to be is a place where you do what you want, where you want, with whoever you want, have more time freedom, lifestyle freedom, and know that you're also, fulfilling your true potential, making a real difference in the world, helping people. Then I'd like to invite you to attend our free Life Coach Foundations training. It's a completely free training. There should be a link somewhere underneath this where you can check it out. Check it out, watch the training. If you enjoy it, you'll get to perhaps at the end of the training book a phone call with me with a view to going on and doing our internationally accredited life and business coach training. You'll learn more about it when you watch the training video. So go ahead and watch the training video, and I look forward to seeing you there. God bless. Take care.